Oh my goodness.
I was going to say, oh my God.
Pero en español, oh my goodness.
Oh
my goodness.
Dios mío.
Oh my God.
Oh cielos.
Pero you forgot.
Well, how can we follow? How can we follow?
No, sí, I'll just stop. Ya le paro mejor.
No, for the first time in
A long time.
a very long
Let's
time.
go. A long time.
In a very long time, and our first guest of the year. Like we said, we're trying to incorporate more people. I know we've been a little in our little cubicles for a while. Pero esta vez, I thought it was right to have a very, I would say, motivational person, self-motivated, and helps motivates others. She's a mother. She's a friend. She is my friend, actually, and Jose's friend. Miss Cynthia Castillo in the house, baby.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Sé que es muy temprano. Es muy temprano en la mañana ahorita. Todavía no sale el sol. Todavía no sale el sol.
¿Sabes qué? ¿No estoy echando mentiras?
Sí, todavía no sale el sol.
¿Todavía no ha salido el sol?
I bent the truth, but I never lied.
Ya vas a empezar. Ya vas a empezar con tus cosas.
No digo nada. Callito me veo más bonito.
Te dije, Cynthia, eso, después de este episodio, ya no te vas a querer juntar.
Ya veremos.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming and accepting this offer from the last 3 years.
No. So she ignored us.
3 years. 3 years in the making.
Denle chance.
Wait.
In those 3 years.
Can we give her a round of applause? This is her first podcast, baby.
It is, you guys.
Yeah.
It is. Well, I'm a little bit nervous, but I want to say thank you for having me. I know you asked me to come and do the podcast, 3 years ago. And at first I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm ready. And I feel like recently I saw him again and he's like, are you ready yet? And I said, you know what? Let's do it. I don't think I want to let, more time go by and just, I just want to do it. And whatever comes out of this, and if I can inspire one person out of this podcast, then that's already, something that is going to make me happy, and we'll see how it goes.
So what changed in those 3 years, though?
3 years.
A
lot can happen in a day, so I
Yeah,
can only imagine what
imagine
happens
3
in 3
years.
years.
Yeah, like what made you say it's time to tell my story?
A lot of things happen. I did a TV show. I went through a lot of personal stuff where I was like very, at a moment like a very low in, ¿cómo se dice? Como en mi vida, en un momento muy, muy oscuro que yo dije, me salí de ahí yo sola. So I was like, you know what? Nobody's there for you in those moments. I got out of that by myself, and I'm always worried about, what are people going to say about what I'm doing, what I'm saying. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. From now on, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to do and share what I've been through. And, I'm not going to hold back anymore. I'm just here, and, I'm not afraid of it anymore.
She said,
We're doing this,
She
you guys.
said, como
It's
venga.
fine. Como venga. Saquen los trapitos, lo que sea.
¿Cómo va la frase? Sin miedo al éxito.
Sin miedo al éxito, la verdad.
Wow. Para la gente que no sabe, ¿dónde creciste? ¿Dónde naciste? A ver.
Bueno, pues les voy a dar una introducción de mí. Mi nombre es Cynthia Castillo. Yo soy de Los Reyes, Michoacán, México. Y yo llegué a este país a los 15 años. En un momento, obviamente, fui inmigrante. Es algo que me gustaría compartir, cómo yo llegué a este país sin saber el inglés. I came to this country without knowing the language and stuff. So I would love to share my story because I feel like a lot of people know Cynthia Fitness, but they don't know about Cynthia Castillo. Cynthia Castillo that used to live on this little town, and I came from nothing. And I feel like that's something that I would love to share more than anything.
Yeah. And we're here.
We're getting some.
You know what?
Yeah.
We have a perfect opportunity.
Mijita, estás en el lugar, pero perfecto.
Cynthia Castillo.
15 años te viniste.
Sí, a los 15 años.
Wow.
And it wasn't by choice. There's a little story behind how I ended up here. I have 3 sisters, 1 brother. We used to be the happy family back in Los Reyes, Mexico. And it all started with my mom and dad. I had a very abusive dad. He put my mom through a lot. And one day she was like, she got me and my sisters, or my sisters and I, and she was like, hey, I'm leaving your dad. I'm leaving your dad, and I'm going to the United States with your grandma and my family. And she was looking at us, and she's like, do you guys want me to give you a better life? And what am I going to say? I was like 11 or 12, and I was like, we were like, yeah, go for it, you know? And my dad left to work and she packed her stuff and she left us. Like just with my sister. My sister was 16. My brother was 14. I was about 11 or 12. And then my two little sisters. And I feel like, you know, those years, it was very, very hard.
I think at that age, you're most vulnerable.
¿Y cómo hacer una decisión tan grande a una edad tan pequeña?
Tan pequeña, o sea,
sí, es una gran responsabilidad.
See, now that I'm a mom, that's why I was like, okay, you know, like, Cynthia, you have to do something, you know, like, my mom came to this country because she promised us, I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I'm bringing you guys here to give you a better life. And I promise you guys that I'm coming back. And I have children. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. And if you ask me, would you leave your kids for 3 years to give them a better life? I'll be like, no, I don't think so, you know, like, so I can only imagine how hard it was for my mom to leave us, you know, and just for us to be alone in Mexico and just having my dad come back home, and we had to tell him that.
How do you explain that?
That he was gone, that she was gone.
Yeah, that's insane. So I think in this podcast, we're going to jump back and forth because hay cosas que vas a reflexionar de lo que viviste y puedes comparar a lo que estás haciendo ahorita porque eres madre. Eres madre de niñas. So imagine you in those shoes. Like, ¿qué te enseñó tu mamá haciendo eso que tú incorporas ahorita lo que haces tú como mamá?
Que tú eres fuerte, que todo lo puedes, que nada es imposible, que si te lo pones en la mente lo vas a lograr, que si mi mamá pudo traer a 4 niñas a este país, o sea, I can do it, I can do more. So that's why I feel like I need to share that part of my story, because a lot of people tell me, oh, you're just a pretty face, that's why you get that opportunity. That's why people want to work with you because of so-and-so opportunity. I'm like, no, I feel like God knows what I've been through and my story, and he knows how bad I want it, and you know, the things that I've done and I've been through in life is because, you know, I always think about my children and my mom, you know, I want to make her proud. I didn't come to this country just to be nothing, you know, like, no. So that's what inspires me more than anything, my mom.
Thank you. Wow.
No, pero la historia ahí no acaba. O sea, my dad, he comes home and he's like, ¿dónde está tu mamá? And just for us to tell him she's gone, that was like very traumatizing. You know, I remember he was just like crying and he couldn't believe it. And in the beginning, it was so hard for him because he was a little bit depressed. So in a way, we kind of like lost my mom. And then we didn't have a dad for a little bit, because later on, you know, he knew he had to, you know, pick up my mom's, you know, su trabajo de ella y ayudarnos. Y pues mi hermana, la mayor, tenía 16 años y ella nos cuidó siempre. Y pues estar a esa edad para mí es como que fue muy difícil because I was, sorry that I do Spanglish.
No,
don't be. You know, being that age and everything that we were going through, it was very, very hard. You know, a teenager, like going from a little girl to a teenager, and then having to do so many things alone, and it was very hard. And like I said, my dad, he used to work a lot, so my sister was kind of like just feeding us quesadillas con salsa verde todo el tiempo. So, era algo que yo admiro también de una hermana mayor. Mucho lo admiro. Y pues, no sé, también una de las cosas que me acuerdo es como me iba a la escuela con mis hermanitas chiquitas. Y es como que you feel like I was forced to be like an adult at such a young age. Yeah. And now that I think about it, because I go hiking by myself, I do so many things by myself. And on social media, I get girls that ask me, oh my God, you're not afraid to do all these things? I'm like, si supieran. Yo desde los 12 años andaba por las calles de mi pueblo solita, con mis hermanas. Caminábamos a la escuela solitas y es algo que yo siempre decía. You know, I remember, this is something that I remember from my childhood, and it makes me feel a little bit emotional. It's walking to school with my sisters and my 2 little sisters. And the little one, Chantel, Ay, estoy cansada, I'm tired. Carry my backpack. And it was a long distance, you know, to go to school. It was far. So I remember putting her backpack and just walking and just telling myself, you're strong, you can do this. You're strong, you can do this. And now that I'm 34 years old, I keep telling myself, I can carry this backpack. I can carry whatever I'm going through because I'm strong and I can do this. I've been prepared since, you know, I was young for whatever I'm going through. So no hay excusa. No hay excusa.
It sounds like your mom coming to the States shaped you.
Yes.
How do you think that, I guess, what effect do you think that has in the way that you raise your children?
I feel like it just makes me, I feel like it helped me to, ¿cómo te puedo explicar? Como apreciar más el momento y estar más presente y hacer más por ellos, por proveerles más y no sé, es como que no puedo quedar mal con ella. Like she just gave me this big, you know, like me puso como una meta tan grande que I'm like, how can I not top that, you know, like mi mamá hizo todo por nosotros. Imagine what I can do for my children, especially being in this country, you know, like
it's how we said in the last week's episode, right? That when fear the person that lost everything, because when they lost everything, they lost all the fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, at that age, you know, 13, 12 to 15, you're a kid. You know, you're thinking about your friends, birthday parties, your birthdays, like you're thinking, and especially as a woman, I'm sure you're thinking about your quince años, your quinceañera. You're going into womanhood, but como dijiste, like you're forced into grow up. Like, you know, you don't have time to be a little kid no more. You're going to be the adult.
Yeah.
Like that's, as a firstborn, and we talked about it many times, as a firstborn, you have that pressure of like, hey, I know you're growing up, but you know what, don't worry about that. You need to
A trabajar.
take care of your siblings, take care of everything that needs to be done, but fast forward. So as a person, it's like, as a kid, like, how are you a kid still? Like, you know,
it was, you know, like I said, it was hard. And back then it was different. I would only hear from my mom like once a week because they used to have the pay phones. So it was like that phone call, you know, that we used
minutos,
to.
yeah.
Y tenías que ponerle monedas. You used to put the coins, and it was a line, you know, like, hola mami, ¿cómo estás? Te quiero mucho, mija, te quiero mucho, te extraño. It was something, you know, and it wasn't like now that you can FaceTime someone, you know. So we would always be ready for that phone call, like across the street, because they had the phone, like, ahí por una tiendita.
Todos querían su minuto.
Yo quería mi minuto con mi mamá. Mi minuto con mi mamá era lo mejor, era lo que me llenaba de vida otra vez. Yo decía, ay, no pasa nada, la voy a ver. Había una montaña cerca de donde yo vivía. Yo decía, mi mamá está allá, mi mamá está allá. No, pues ahora que veo que tan lejos se quedó, no estaba allá mi mamá. Pero
la inocencia.
Había algo que te dijo tu mamá durante ese momento que, like, te dio ese, like, support. Like, there had to be something, your mom left. Your mom came to have a better life for you guys, but she left. You're missing her physically. There has to be something that your mom told you or reminded you every single time you got on the phone with her for the minute, for the 2 minutes, that just said, okay, Cynthia, I got to do this.
I think it's this quote that I live by, un día a la vez y te veo pronto y un día a la vez. And it was always like, un día a la vez y otro día más. And you get to, you know, like, I'm a day closer to see my mom. Era como, ella lo hacía ver como que, oh, nos vemos pronto.
¿Y cómo se sintió when you saw her?
Oh my God, even that story was crazy because, you know, I came to this country as an immigrant, you know, and the sad part is that we did the same thing to my dad. We didn't tell him that we were leaving. We just waited for him to go to work, and we packed our stuff and we left. And, you know, even that part was hard, but I'll explain that right now. But seeing my mom again was like, oh my God, it was everything. It was like, you know, time didn't exist. It was like that 12-year-old, 11-year-old came back again, and she was like
we're back to being a child.
Yeah.
Did you have any sort of resentment to your mom at one point? Or like some sort of forgiveness that you needed to do in order to you to like...
I did for a little bit because I went through some things that I needed my mom, you know, like when you're becoming a teenager and some things happen to you, you know, like that time of the month, you know, nobody told me anything. And when it happened, I remember crying, thinking that I was dying. Seriously. I was like, you know, and my sister comes to the restroom and she was like, ¿qué te pasó? Le dije, mira lo que me está pasando. Y se empieza a reír. Mi hermana mayor se empieza a reír. She was just laughing. She's like, you're not dying.
Una paniqueada.
Te lo juro, me dice, no te estás muriendo, Elsa. ¿Cómo te vas? Le dije, pero ¿qué me está pasando?
Pero es que para esas cosas sí necesitas a tu mamá,
Ajá,
a una mujer.
Te lo juro que a mí, o sea, no sé si es algo de papás mexicanos o algo en ese tiempo que era así. En la escuela nos enseñaban cosas, pero era como, me pasó tan chiquita que yo no lo esperabas, ¿me entiendes?
Sí.
So when it happened, and just having that, I just wanted someone to be like, you're gonna be okay, you know, like it happens. But my sister was laughing, and I'm like, okay. So let me show you how.
She's like, no pasa nada.
No pasa nada. No, pero de niña cuando te pasa así, tú te sientes como avergonzada,
Sí,
con
o sea,
miedo,
yo
¿qué me
sentía...
está pasando? No sabes cómo procesar las emociones. ¿Sí me entiendes? Y falta de una mamá a esa edad tan pequeña. ¿Y cuántos años dijiste que faltó?
3 años.
3 años.
Yeah.
Pues en los meros años que uno está creciendo, que se está volviendo una mujercita.
You mentioned that hicieron lo mismo con tu papá.
Sí.
Recogieron sus cosas y se fueron. Was there a specific moment that made you guys decide, hey, vamos a hacer los mismos y nos vamos?
No era plan de mi mamá. Mi mamá dijo, ella dijo, si ustedes le dicen a su papá que se vienen conmigo, no las va a dejar. Y sí, cierto, mi papá era como que obviamente no. So he used to work at one of my uncles, una huerta de aguacates. So se iba toda la semana. Y en esa semana nos preparamos. O sea, mis vecinas les dijimos que nos íbamos a venir para acá. Todas iban a agarrar nuestras cosas. ¿Quieren esto? ¿Quieren esto? Porque solamente mi mamá dijo, you guys are only packing a little backpack. Don't bring anything. And even that, like, leaving everything behind, you know, my clothes and everything, just having a little backpack was so hard. But I remember my sister looking at me and she was like, Cynthia, ya te conozco. Más te vale que no le digas a mi papá. Y más te vale que no le digas a mi papá. Yo nada más decía, oh my God, my dad is going to come home and he's going to be looking for us. And I just pictured what I saw with my mom, you know, and I was like, I don't want my dad to feel like that. So I remember going upstairs and I wrote a note and I said, hey, pa, vamos a estar bien, vamos a ir con mi mamá, no te preocupes, yo voy a venir por ti pronto, no me importa el tiempo que me tome, pero voy a regresar por ti. Vamos a estar bien, estamos con mi mamá. Y me acuerdo que la escondí porque mi papá tenía una rutina, se despertaba, se hacía el café, abría un cajón, siempre soy muy observativa yo, y yo le dejé esa nota. Para no hacer la historia tan larga, empacamos nuestras cosas. Mi primo nos llevó al estacionamiento del bus. De ahí llegamos a Guadalajara. De Guadalajara volamos a Tijuana. So that's where they had a hotel, you know, for us. And that's where we met our fake moms, because that's how we came to this country, with someone else's papers. So I remember meeting them and nada que ver, unas señoras muy güeras que yo decía, yo no, that lady doesn't look like my mom, pero bueno, pues me entiendes, y es como que you just gotta do what they're telling you. Even thinking now, I'm like, oh my God, my mom literally, like, we went through so much, you know, 4 girls with these ladies that, you know, like, yo pienso ahorita en mis hijos and I'm like, oh my God, there's no way. Pero igual, they brought clothes from here. And I remember they gave me like a Gap hoodie and some jeans and some Skechers. And I remember wearing like hoops and they're like, oh no, you got to take those off. And I used to have eyeliner and she's like, no, take it off. Y los aretes y todo. You need to look like a little gabachita. Yeah, change the look, I guess. And they took us to get some tacos. The story was that we went to a party in TJ and we're going back home. So we were supposed to cross the border at midnight. So esa era la historia, you know, that we went to a party in TJ and we're coming back home. I remember after we had the tacos, they gave us a green liquid. Before I didn't know what it was. Now I know it was NyQuil.
Para tranquilizarte.
But see what I'm telling you.
Calladita más bonita. No, pero qué cosas pasar. ¿A cuántos años tenías cuando cruzaste? 15, dice 15.
Pero mis hermanas tenían 13 porque nos llevamos por 2 años.
Sí.
So 13 y 10. Pero me acuerdo que mi hermana se los toman and we get in the car and they just like go like this. They go to sleep. Right? So I'm thinking, oh my God, because my oldest sister, she had a different story for her.
Okay.
With like another group of like, you know, like guys, girls, whatever. And for us, it was just us 3 and those 2 ladies. And I remember going like this. I'm like, what's going on? I was just so scared. You know, I wanted to know what was going on.
Oh, shit.
And like I said, long story short, we get to the, you know, we're about to cross the border. Yeah. And I remember the officer asking her, I don't know what, porque pues yo no hablaba el inglés. Y nada más le miro que le enseña unos papeles y nos echa la luz. Y le hace, okay, go ahead, bye. And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to see my mom. Like, I just remember wanting to see my mom. And I just remember staying awake and fighting that feeling. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to sleep, wake up, you know. And it was something like, you know, that I wanted so bad. And then the ladies go, you're not going to see your mom until the morning. Y yo, ay, pues bueno. Ya, nos quedamos a dormir, que ni dormí nada. Y en la mañana mi mamá llegó a la casa y el reencuentro fue algo muy, muy, muy bonito. O sea, es como que, como te digo, like I was that little girl again. Yeah. You know, that moment when she left us, it came back again. And it was like the little girl that saw her mom again. Y el tiempo como que no existió. It was like those 3 years were nothing. And it was beautiful. You know, just how you see on those videos cuando se reencuentran. I remember it was like, so you know, it was worth it. You know, whatever we went through, no importa, todo fue.
How long after that did you have a conversation with your dad?
With my dad?
And how did he feel?
He actually came here.
Really?
He came here like 2 months later. We obviously called him, you know, my sister did, and we told him that we were okay, but he actually came to look for us 2 months later.
How did you feel? How did you feel?
God. It was everything. You know, we were happy, but then my mom was like, no van a ver a su papá, y nos puso en esa situación con que I wasn't allowed to see my dad, and it was like really, really bad. But he only had friends and family in Delano, in Bakersfield.
Oh, okay.
So he went over there.
So how is it now?
Well, my dad passed away 11 years ago.
Sorry about that.
I know. But yeah. That part is hard. I'll explain why right now. But yeah. You know, but just seeing him again, and I was able to spend time with him, and just, you know, having that time. And I remember when you asked about having resentment towards my mom, I did after like a month or 2. The reason why is because she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend wasn't like a good person. You know, it was more like, oh, we're going to go to dinner. Don't bring your kids. And he was very vocal about it. Like, oh, it's just us, me and you. And to me, that was like, you know, and she picked him, which I'm like, now that I'm a single mom, I'm like, no, there's no guy that comes into my life that is going to separate me from my children, you know? Mm-hmm. And then I remember like resenting my mom, like, you didn't see us for all these years, you know, and you're choosing him. Mm-hmm. But I mean, yeah. También, you know.
¿Tuviste la conversación con tu mamá? ¿Le dijiste eso?
Sí, un tiempo que sí.
Sí.
Sí, claro que sí. Y ella era como que ella decía que ella merecía ser feliz, que ella había hecho muchísimo por nosotros y que tenía que aprender a agradecer que ya estábamos aquí. Pero yo como que quería recuperar el tiempo, como que quería a mi mamá, y yo decía, yo quiero a mi mamá, y era como que...
What you said, like, todavía eres niña. Like, you had this mentality of, I lost my childhood, and I miss, like, you're trying to catch up on time. So, like, we cannot see each other for 3-4 years, and then the moment we see each other, like, we're trying to recover that, but you're coming in with this expectation, but you don't know that person has moved. and has moved on. And yeah, you're cool that you're here, but I got other priorities and I have other. But as a parent, like como dices, like no he encontrado una razón que alguien se me meta enfrente para decir no a mis niños. Like, oh, don't bring your kids or don't be with your kids. Or, and like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, you look at them and you're just like, then you don't know what love is. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've met people that say that. I think the question or like the topic I came up was like, oh, you got to make yourself happy. And I'm like, bro, if you're a parent and you love your kids, that is happiness. Yes. Like, love, how we always said, love will come, but when love comes, it's like they understand everything that's happening, your priorities, your schedule. They're not like, oh, either you choose me or you choose, like, no, like, there's no way. And for a parent that's able to do that, I personally, I can't see how, really. Like,
yeah. I understand you though, because when you see it, I don't understand. I understand where you're coming from, where parents wouldn't allow something to come in between your child. Pero como los escuchamos ahorita, pasa.
Yeah.
Pasa y como niña te duele. Te duele ver que tu mamá o que tu papá esté escogiendo a otra persona que no seas tú. Y entonces I think that leaves a different kind of like scarring.
But
and
do you think
traumatizing.
It's like your parents are thinking, well, fuck, what am I going to, who's going to love me at this age, at this time, with all this that I have?
Yo no soy mamá, yo no sé, pero I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you have, you're
I know.
a dog mom, you're a dog mom. You can't leave your dog at home. You got Poppy.
Doggy moms.
No,
you got Poppy.
pero.
You got Poppy. You can't leave that guy.
No, I know. But I mean, I think it's because I can only say it from like a POV of a child, porque yo también pasé por algo muy similar, que ves a tus papás escogiendo a alguien más y dices, pero ¿por qué? ¿Por qué? Yo creo que te daña un poquito. Te deja como un, like you wonder. But
yeah, but I do want to make it clear that, you know, she left the guy and she found someone else, someone totally different. You know, he's my stepdad now.
Nice.
He was a little bit younger than my mom. Se lo robó la señora Rosa. But he was ready for my mom. He accepted my mom with 5 kids, you know. Now that I think about it, I have 3 and sometimes I'm like, am I going to find love with 3 kids? Yo sé que sí, alguno por ahí debe de haber, pero, you know, I have a lot of respect for my stepdad because he came to our house and he's like, hey, I'm in love with your mom and I want to be with her, and you know, by me being with her, I'm accepting you guys. And I remember my brothers and everybody they were looking at me porque yo siempre he sido como, no quiero decir la black sheep, pero yo siempre he sido la que tiene una opinión, pero tengo algo que decir.
Yo tengo que decir algo.
Y mis hermanos me miraban como que, y yo, ¿y cuántos días vas a estar aquí? Decía, me voy a mover para
directa
acá.
y al chile. ¿Y cuáles son tus intenciones?
Te lo juro que yo era esa de que como que y cuando te vas a mover aquí para siempre, y decía, no, sí me voy a mover aquí para siempre. Yo, ay. Y mis hermanas mirándome como que ya cállate, le vas a correr el novio a mi mamá. Pero no, fue muy buen hombre, siempre nos respetó, nos llevaba a comer a todos lados, hasta recuerdo que nos compró un celular y es así como me convenció.
Lo bueno de platicar en el podcast es estamos conociendo al personaje atrás de su página de Cynthia Fitness. Because it's I'm definitely now hearing just 30 minutes. It's 2 different. It's okay, not 2 different. It's 2 different people, but this story we're getting is the reason why there is a Cynthia Fitness.
Yes.
And what motivates Cynthia to get up and train and coach other people, not just herself, but again, siendo mamá, siendo entrenadora, y se toma mucho, like it takes a lot.
Es mucha disciplina.
Sí, no, aquí no tenemos nada.
No, casi no lo conocemos.
How do you find the balance
balance
between
too.
Cynthia mom and Cynthia trainer? ¿Cómo encuentras el balance?
How do I find balance?
Yeah. How do you turn off, like you're going on work mom mode. You're a single mom. You are in business for yourself. How are you able to turn off work mode to be mom?
like I was mentioning earlier, you know, I feel like if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I'm always posting from 5 a.m. until noon. And then I start working out, and then I get home. And if I have my kids, because obviously I co-parent with their dad, I put my phone away, and it's like mommy mode. You know, I have to do wash clothes. I have to clean the house. I have to cook because, you know, like the thing about always, you know, making food is like your kids get used to it. I get used to it. And I need to like, you know, do other things that I'm like, okay, I have to put the phone away and come back to reality y hacer tus cosas, tus responsabilidades. So
yeah, I think we jumped too far ahead because we have to ask the question of what did it feel to become a mother for the first time?
oh my God. Not only that, becoming a mom at 17. That was like
Wow.
A teenage
Yeah.
mom.
Teen mom.
Teen
I
mom.
was a teen mom, you guys.
Teen mom. Wow.
Teen
How
mom
was
nos
that?
dejaste
How
en
was that?
suspenso, Cynthia.
See, teen mom, you know, I became a mom at 17. That part was very hard because, I mean, I was 17. Raising a baby is like, ay no, Diosito me quería mucho porque yo decía, ¿cómo le estoy haciendo? O sea, nadie te enseña y it was hard. Being a young mom was very, very hard. But then again, I feel like not having my mom and then becoming a mom made me be better, like, or
Yeah.
feel like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like I knew what I was doing somehow.
¿Qué cosa se da?
I mean, you grew up, how you said, you grew up fast. So by the time you came into becoming a mom, like, it's not like you were just a child anymore. You came from being in Mexico to come into a whole new country, starting a new life over here. And then bam, now
Shortly
you,
after
To now
becoming a mom.
raise, yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
pedal to the metal.
Did,
Yes.
what changes, like you mentally, emotionally, what changes on becoming a mother, like for the first time seeing your little girl?
I feel like everything just made sense. Everything just clicked. You know, I remember after having my daughter and seeing my mom, and I was like, oh my God, I was crying. And I was like, Mom, thank you, you know, for everything you did for us. And I'm sorry if I was ever, you know, mean to you, porque sí fui media grosera en un tiempo porque le resentía mucho por cosas que pasaron and then everything went away. And I'm like, I have so much respect for you, you know, like even just giving birth alone, it was like, oh my God, so traumatizing. And my mom had 5, so, well, 7. Nada, era como una admiración más grande, aparte de lo que nos trajo para acá, so.
Did, well, your dad got to see that, right?
Yeah.
Your oldest?
Yeah, my oldest. My dad passed away in 2013. 2013.
Wow.
Yeah, he did.
I was, can't
You're
even
doing
say
the
I
math.
was, my math isn't math, no, it's a little early.
Well, when he passed, sorry, I don't want to
Go
cut you
ahead.
off. But him passing away inspired me to be a personal trainer or focus more on fitness. So the reason why is because he passed away from a heart attack. He had high cholesterol. And when we found out and when I knew, you know, that it was something he could have, you know, prevented if he took care of himself, I was like, I refuse to do that to my children. I am not going to do that. If, God forbid, something happens to me, it's because a car accident or something. But I'm not going to let anything that I can control, you know, take me from, you know, from my children, because losing my dad was impacted my life. Like, it changed everything.
How was the relationship with your dad at the time of his passing?
It was amazing.
Was
My
it?
dad was very supportive. I was the closest to him. Era su chiquiada.
Daddy's favorite?
That's
Daddy's
favorite.
girl.
You know, I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he helped me a lot through a lot of the things that I went through when I was younger. But losing him, it was hard because I was supposed to. So I have my little boy in September, and I remember calling him, "Hey, Dad, are you coming? I want you to see Alonso." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go in December, and I'll stay with you for 2 weeks. You know, I have a break. I'm gonna spend Christmas with you guys for 2 weeks." And we used to FaceTime and everything. And just I remember on a Monday I was working out with my sister, and I was on the Stairmaster. She gets a phone call from my dad, and she's like, my dad is calling me. She doesn't really talk to my dad. So she's like, why is my dad calling me? So she answers, and it was my brother. And my brother goes, hey, my dad is dying. My dad is going to die. My dad is going to die. And at that moment, we're like, what's going on, you know? So I just remember telling my ex-husband, you got to take me to the Delano, like right now. You got to take me. My dad is about to die. And he drove as fast as he could to our house. And when we got there, he just came into the room. And that's when he told me the news. He's like, hey, your dad passed away. Literally, like weeks before he came to spend Christmas with us. He passed away in December 16. And I was like, no, he was supposed to come, you know, like, no. And it's like, it makes me see life, you know, different. You know, you can have all these plans. You can, you know, say, oh, I'm going to do this. And no, if you have something in mind, you just have to do it. Make the time. If you want to see someone, make the time to see someone. You know, if you have your mom, if you have your dad, don't overthink it. You know, if you guys have an issue, fix it. Don't let anything take that time away from, you know, being with your parents and stuff. And for me, it was like, he was stubborn. He was like, you know, I'm going in December. That's it. We used to FaceTime, and it's like, no, what if I went over there to see him? You know, a lot of things. So one thing I can share with everybody is just, you know, appreciate the time, be present. Don't let, you know, any little problem get in between your relationship with your family. Family is everything. At the end of the day, whatever happens, you know, family is everything. Y pues apreciar la vida más que nada, ¿no? Y disfrutar el momento siempre.
Did you play that what if game for a while?
The what?
Like, did you play that what if game? Like, what if I would have done this?
A lot. Oh my God, a lot. I feel like what kept me getting up and getting out of bed, it was that I had my little boy. You know, I used to breastfeed, and I remember just being in bed and not wanting to get up. And it was like, this boy doesn't like regular milk or any formula. He wants his mom. So God knows what he's doing in a way. You know, I was like, oh my God, if I didn't have this baby, I don't know what, you know, like would have happened to me. I don't want to say anything like that, but my dad was my everything. And just to think that what I was going through, it was, you know, I felt like that was it, you know, for me. But I'm thankful that I had my little boy, and I had to get up and eat because that boy comía mucho. So, you know, ya ha pasado el tiempo y poco a poquito, pues me duele todavía. Se siente como Christmas is hard for me because it all comes back. But you just learn how to live with the pain, you know, and appreciate the moment, like I said, and be present. And, you know, one of the things that I love to do when I meet people is always leave a good impression, you know, not like to try hard, but it could be the last time you see me. It could be the last time I see you, and I don't want to be mad at you, you know? And I think we should all think that way. We should think about, you know, this could be the last time we see each other, and I don't want to leave a bad impression. And
it's como, I mean, creo que esas las palabras de nuestros papás donde dice like la vida es corta. You know, and I mean, I think that's why that's why I advocate a lot of just like with the parents and forgiveness. And I mean, obviously that we talk a lot about grief too, just because, you know, grief is probably like it's probably one of the heaviest weights you can ever lift. That sometimes you get it up and it's cool, and then some days te vence y te quedas derrotado. And I don't know, I feel like it's crazy because it's obviously the first time you share that, and I hear it, and yeah, like I'm glad at that moment, like when my grandpa passed, like I had my son. So it's the same thing. Like as a parent, what do you do?
Yeah.
If you can't stay locked away and cry and not get up because your babies are depending on you. Like even like as when my uncle passed, like my little sister, she was 5, 6. And all I hear was like, obviously we go to the viewing, and all I hear my little sister is like, what's still Jerry doing? And what do we tell her? Like, he's sleeping. You know, now she understands, you know, but it's something where it's a void, bro. Like,
I think it comes in waves. And como se escucha, tú tenías a tu niño pequeño y acababa de fallecer a tu papá. ¿Cómo le hacías tú en ese periodo de tiempo cuando de recién, like the grief, the mourning with the newborn? That's a lot already on a plate.
It was a lot. It was a lot, you know, because there were days that, like I said, I was just crying because it hits you out of nowhere, and I just remember not wanting to get out of bed. And thankfully, I had my ex-husband's mom's support, you know, where she was like, just like literally feed him and give him to me, and she would take him away, and I would just stay in bed because they let me grieve, you know, a little bit by myself. Pero decían, si estás triste le va a caer mal la leche al niño. Y yo era decía, ay, ¿cómo me pongo feliz? ¿Me entiendes? Era de que si le va a caer mal la leche al niño si estás triste todo el tiempo. Y aparte decía yo, maybe they're telling me that just to kind of like, you know, but it's hard, you know, losing a parent and having all those plans and not knowing that he had that problem, you know, because he was stubborn. Él decía, ay, me siento mal, ahorita me voy a tomar un té de no sé qué. You know, like he refused to go to the hospital.
That's Mexican parents for you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's whatever the doctor says. Ay, no sabe.
Cabal no sabe. Ahorita con un té de manzanilla y no pasa nada.
It's, I mean, as they say, it's like you can have every problem in the world, but the moment you have a health problem, that's the only problem you got.
Yes.
And like there's only certain shit you can change, like realistically. To shift gears here, because I mean, thank you for sharing everything with your mom and with your dad.
Yes.
But you have siblings.
Oh my God, I do.
You have siblings.
I do.
Yeah. What are you? The middle
Somewhere
child?
Somewhere
in the middle.
The middle child.
They're dynamic. Talk about your siblings.
From my mom's first relationship with my dad. Somos 5, so it's 4 girls, 1 boy, and then she got married. Well, they didn't get married. Están juntos todavía, pero tuvo 2 niños más. So we're 7 total.
Okay.
7 kids.
You're right in the mid.
Yo soy la del medio, soy la número 3.
Okay, de las muchachas.
De las muchachas.
How do you explain that bond and that love for your sisters?
Ooh. I feel like the love that it's different with everybody, you know. The closest to my oldest sister. The 2 little ones, I feel like they became so close. Even since they were little, they used to be together all the time. So I feel like that carry on until now. I feel like they're always together. So se juntan más mi hermana Chantel y mi hermana Stephanie, se juntan más ella. Y yo soy con mi hermana mayor. Mi hermana mayor, yo tengo un problema y ella me ayuda a resolverlo. So I feel like we're kind of like 2 and 2. And when we get together, pero sí, nuestra relación está media complicada. Pero nos queremos a nuestra manera. Sí.
No,
Como todos los hermanos, ¿verdad?
Sí, hay días que nos queremos y nos abrazamos y hay días como que no te quiero ver.
No, I believe it.
Yes,
I believe it.
no,
Yeah.
Would you say now you have a closer relationship with your older sister just because of what you guys been through and like everything you went through, or is this more of a like, you know, because I feel life happens and, you know, everybody has different schedules, but, you know, you hang out with.
I feel because we had kids around the same time, I guess. And I see her more like my mom more than my mom, to be honest. Whenever I have some issue, problem or anything, I go to my sister. Me está pasando esto, ¿cómo ves? Ella me dice, tú eres una mujer chingona, tú puedes, échale ganas. Y siempre le llamo más a mi mamá, pero creo que el tener hijos nos junta un poco más y nos da ese tipo de relación más fuerte que mis hermanas menores. Mi hermana Stephanie tiene una niña, pero mi hermana Stephanie, su manera de ser, o sea, si ustedes nos conocen a las 4, es like, okay, it's like my sister Gemma is very like, not quiet, pero es muy reservada. She'll see how you act and then kind of like, she has a big wall. And then for me, I'm like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Y yo soy como que, yo soy like, siempre. Todo el mundo me dice, oh my God, Cynthia, you talk to everybody. Since I was little, okay? Since I was little, my mom says that. And then my sister Stephanie, same thing. She's very quiet. And then Chantel, she's very like, same thing. I feel like from all of them, I'm like the one that no se puede callar. Puedo hablar hasta de todo.
Dijiste earlier you said you're like the black sheep.
Yes.
Why? What makes you feel that you're like the black sheep?
The things that I've done, I feel like que si soy muy if you tell me that wall is green, I'm like, no, it's red. You know, I'm like, I don't go by the rules. I feel like I like doing things my way. Soy muy de que tú no me dices cómo hacer las cosas, yo te voy a enseñar que yo puedo hacer las cosas a mi manera. I don't know, like I'm very like I don't follow the rules somehow. I feel like people tell me that I'm a certain way and I'm like, I'll show you that I can do it a different way. Soy como que rebelde, pero no sé por qué me nace en manera y me gusta, o sea, no sé si lo mismo que pasé de chiquita me hizo así como que ser media aventada, que a veces no tengo idea de lo que hago, pero pues, bueno, ahorita me ha llevado a lugares como el
What's the craziest place, I guess, that's taken you?
The TV show that I did, Exclatón.
Cuéntanos.
TV personality.
¿Cómo pasó?
Yes, please.
Bueno, recibí un mensaje de esos, ¿cómo se dicen las personas que buscan como
Talent agents?
Ajá.
Okay, the scouters.
Yes, and he wrote to me. He's like, "Hey, Cynthia, we want you to be in the." First of all, it was a dating show, and I said no right away. I'm like, I don't want to be in a dating show. It was por amor o por dinero. So you choose love or
What would you choose?
Dinero.
What would you choose?
O sea, el dinero.
Okay, Pepe. Okay, Pepe.
Es que el dinero nunca te
Y ver
decepciona.
otro. No, gracias.
Pero
That part.
el amor, con el amor tienes todo.
Pero pues con el dinero puedes comprar lo que te hace falta.
Pero el amor con yo y tú tenemos todo.
Ay, los dejamos solos. Los dejamos
Después.
solos.
Mijo,
¿Quieren que nos salgamos?
Después.
No puedes comprar el amor.
Sí se puede.
No, sí se puede, sí
Sí
se puede. No, no,
sí
no.
se puede comprar.
No. There's for sure a
Se
difference.
nota que tienen
Con los
That's for
suficientes
sure
ceros sí se puede comprar el amor.
Pero antes de desviarnos.
Sí.
Vamos, ya de
Sí,
desveo,
sí,
no.
Ya nos
Hay que seguir, hay que
desviamos.
seguir.
Sí, entonces te mandan
Regreso.
mensaje y luego ¿qué pasa?
Después me vuelven a contactar que si estaba interesada en estar en otro show que se llama Exclatón. That's like a American Warrior type of show. And at first, I was like, okay, I don't think I can do it. I said no right away. And then he messaged me again and he said, look, I know you're like the perfect fit. You're Latina, sabes el español, sabes hablar muy bien, tienes la historia, mujer mexicana, viene a este país. I was like, no, like he told me a little bit more. He's like, let's just get on a call. Long story short, he tells me, you're going to be in Dominican Republic from 3 to 6 months.
Oh, damn.
That part was like, no, I cannot leave my kids. My mom's, story comes back and I'm like, oh my God, but then he was like, you can win $200,000 if you win the whole show. And that part was like, oh.
Bueno.
Bueno.
Mijos, los voy a dejar.
No. And I remember telling my ex-husband, because we used to watch the show. And funny part, I told my kids, I'm going to be on that show. La mente es tan poderosa, te lo juro que yo una vez jugando les dije, yo voy a estar en ese show. Mommy's going to be on that show. And my daughter knows, like she remembers, she's like, Mommy, you told us you were going to be on that show. But I told my ex-husband, someone messaged me about Exclatón, and he's like, why don't you do it? And I was like, what? Yeah. He's like, yeah, I think you should do it. And in that moment, I'm like, oh my God, he's supporting me, And me dice, no te preocupes, yo me encargo de los niños y creo que deberías de ir. En ese momento dije, wow, I wasn't expecting that support, but he told me, he was in the military, so he knew that I always supported, him with all his decisions. We moved a lot, so just hearing that, that he was willing to stay with my kids so I can do my own thing, I was like, okay, so I messaged the guy and I went through a lot of things. A lot of people think that it's easy to be an Exclatón, but it's hard. You have to audition. You have to send videos of you like talking, on camera. And I went to audition in Miami and I shared my story, what I share with you guys here. And I remember one of the guys, I'm sharing the story about some tacos. I'll tell you guys that story right now. And I'm crying. I remember I was just crying, sharing that story. And he gets his phone and he's like this, recording me. And I'm like, okay.
¿Lloro más or what?
Okay.
No. Boom. Long story short, they call me. They're like, hey, Cynthia, you made it. You're going to be in Exclatón and you're leaving in a month. You have a month. Damn. And, I was scared. I was afraid. One, because I don't know how to swim. And then a lot of the parts from the show.
That's a red flag.
That's
They
what I'm
drop you in
telling
the
you, que
water?
es como que soy aventada, que yo dije, pues con todo el miedo del mundo, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm doing this for my kids.
I may drown, but I'll be.
Dice, aquí hay solución.
Aquí ahorita alguien me va a sacar del agua. Yo iba con todo, mi meta era, o sea, estar en la tele. Se me vino esa niña chiquita, o sea, de México, llegar a este país y estar en la tele era como que, oh my God, I'm going to be in a TV show en Telemundo and I got to do it. Even if it's just for the experience, you know, I have to do it.
Dijo,
Dijo, no
"I don't gotta
pasa
swim if I
nada,
don't fall in the
aunque
water."
pase todo.
Because you also had, obviously, you didn't have your phone, no contact.
No, so they tell us, you know, part of the show, they take away your phone. So you go into the show. We went to Dominican Republic. So it was in Dominican Republic. They were like, we're going to take your phone away. You have no contact with your kids, nothing. So that was the hardest part, you know, like not having communication. And llegamos al show y eso nos quita nuestro teléfono. Empezamos el show. And guess what happens? There's a hurricane. There's a hurricane happening in Dominican Republic. And the first week, they tell us, hey, we have to evacuate. There's a hurricane happening. And we're like, is this like for reals? You know, because they had cameras. So is this a joke? And the producers, they're from Turkey. And they're like, tell them that we have to get out. Long story short, they get us, they put us in a different house, and we're like, it's two teams, Team Red and Team Blue. Team Green is contendientes, which means it's like just regular people, you know, like la gente del pueblo, la gente, y los famosos que son like athletes. You know, there was a soccer player from las Chivas. Había como this... like everybody had something, you know, like they were bigger than us. And they put us in a house and we're just like doing nothing. It's midnight. We're joking about everything. I'm like, nothing's happening, you know? And then in the middle of the night, everything starts to like the rain and the hurricane comes. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I came here to die. You know, like I'm going to die. And my kids are in the U.S. And I was like, I remember everybody, you know, went to one room because the lights went off. And I've never been in such a scary, you know, time of my life. I'm like, there's a hurricane happening. Like, I don't have a phone. I don't know if my family knows. All I could think about it was my children. I was the only mom in the group. They used to call me Mami Sin. Mami Sin. Y me decían, Mami Sin, no te preocupes. Y nos agarramos todos and we were praying. But that part was so scary. That was so scary. And we lost, you know, electricity. We didn't have no light. And living with guys, it was like 5 girls, 5 guys. I'm like, damn, you guys go to the restroom a lot. Why? Because, you know, we found a pool to get water, to take it to the toilet. And it was a lot. We went through a lot. Because everything got destroyed. Todos los circuitos. So, ¿cómo se llaman? Todo se destruyó. Todo. So what they did, they let us stay in the house for about 3-4 days. And then they put us in a hotel with all inclusive, which was nice. I'm not going to lie. So we were in Dominican.
Nice
de vacaciones,
Just
¿se da cuenta?
nice.
Te lo juro que yo decía, wow, mira aquí, nos están pagando. No nos estaban pagando mientras estábamos ahí, pero, but still we didn't have a phone. And I remember, you know, asking like random people, is there a way that I can borrow your phone? Like, I just want to call my family. And they're like looking at us like,
no way.
You guys don't have a phone? But that whole experience was something, you know, it was amazing. You know, I feel like I have no regrets. Like I said, my kids, they tell everybody, my mom was on TV and they feel so proud of me, you know, that I did the show. And unfortunately, I lost, and I'm going to share why. They put me in one of the circuitos where I had to jump in the water, obviously.
Oh, no.
They were praying on your downfall.
They knew it.
And I was the first one. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, you know. And I remember seeing the main, you know, the producer, and he's like, do you remember, you know, when I took out my phone and I recorded you? Just know that I picked you. You're here because of me. And I was like, okay. And he's like, you're going first tonight. You're the first one. And I'm like, oh. Y pues sí, you know, that part where I had to, you know, jump in the water. when I landed in the water, I landed like me dicen que como un scorpion. That they just saw on TV. They saw my legs go like that, you know? And I remember doing everything, and te lo juro, está chistoso. Era, qué malo. Te lo juro.
What reminds me of when we were in Atlanta, and then on the bull, when the girl was on the bull, and the bull went face horns down, and then her leg just hit the back of her.
Saludos a la muchacha si lo está viendo ahorita.
Ay,
Hope you're back at school.
Hope you're okay.
Yo
Pero
sé
haz
tu
de
pain.
cuenta.
No, pues seguí con el show, o sea, porque las teles están las cámaras grabándote y era como que pues tiraba la puntería porque de eso se trata el show, que te pasan por todo el circuito y es puntería. Y tiro y me siento y en eso cuando cortan el show, me mira mi coach y me dice, tú para acá. Y yo, ok, voy caminando y me dice, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, I start crying. I'm like, I'm not okay. My back hurts. They sent me to the ER, and then I couldn't compete for about 2 weeks, a week and a half, because of my lower back. I injured myself, you know, and I remember crying to everybody. I was like, I can't lose, you know, I want to compete. And they're like, there's no way, you know, you have to sit down. And they put me in the bench, and my points were low. And then tell me why, when I go back into the game, they put me in competition with this girl from Colombia in the same circuito where I got hurt. I was like, my first show back.
It's the same thing.
Plan con maña.
Sí, pero, you know, I was doing really good. You know, I started kind of slow, and I feel like just feeling that pressure with all the cameras and everything. You know, we used to shoot for about 7 to 8 hours, and they used to give us just like a banana energy drink. I mean, like a Gatorade and a cracker, and that's it for 7 hours.
Wow.
And in Dominican Republic, it was hot, and just the whole experience was amazing. At the end of the day, I feel like that was my como dices tú que te digo, the part of the being a black sheep, you know, not following the rules, is doing something like that. Que con todo el miedo de mi corazón, pero dije, I'm gonna do it.
So it's safe to say it was worth it.
It was worth it.
Tantas cosas.
It's been a great podcast.
Siento
It's been
que
a
no.
long podcast.
I feel like it's not enough time.
It's not. Honestly, we need
not
like a
enough
part
time.
2.
I do.
sure.
I feel like time is just passing by, and we're just not really here.
I know, but there's so many layers to you, Cynthia. So many layers. Que I think we've only gotten through the first half.
We asked this question probably like 2 episodes ago to Jack Chan. What would you prefer, someone to flirt with you in Spanish or English? Que te hablen con some real little razzle dazzle en español como...
¿Cómo te gusta que te coqueteen? Que te hable un hombre.
Yo pienso que en español, obviamente, porque es mi primer lenguaje. So cuando me dice un hombre como, hola, ¿cómo te llamas, chiquitita? Es
That's
como
all
que...
it takes?
Dices, agárrenme.
Like, el English is like, hey, what's up? It's like...
Ay.
You know? Como que el español tiene como algo que tú puedes decirle, qué bonita está tu camioneta. Y ya como que te enamora. Gracias, you know?
Or talk like from the ATTL. What's up, Shawty?
Shawty.
What's up? What's popping?
El español tiene más amor, más...
Tiene más sabor. Tiene más pasión.
Así como nosotras,
Y el que
las
sabe,
latinas.
sabe.
Damn.
Ya escucharon. Si van a entrar en español.
En español.
En español.
Sí.
Si no, no
So,
entren.
so love. Being a mom, do you find time? Like, how do you find time to find self-love? Like, how do you find the moment that you get to like be in tune with yourself?
The moment my kids go to their dads, you know, it's like I stop being a mom. Because one thing I'm thankful for, co-parenting with my kids' children is like amazing. I'm so thankful for that. So when my kids go to their dads, it's like, okay, mommy mode, you know.
Yeah.
Se quita de aquí ahorita y soy Cynthia. ¿A
So
dónde
what
vas?
does Cynthia look like?
No. But one thing that I do love to do, I love doing a lot of things for myself. And I go hiking. I like going to the beach. I run. So I do spend a lot of time by myself.
Do you ever feel guilty for wanting to do things on your own?
Yes, a lot.
The mom guilt?
A lot. I get the mom guilt a lot.
Do you feel like you have... Do you feel like for you yourself, because you're so independent, you're so motivated on your own, self-motivated, is it hard for you to find someone, a partner that can match your same energy?
Yes.
That can understand how you move? Because in similarities, eres como mi amiga. You move alone. You do a lot of things on your own. In simple terms, you don't need no man. You're highly functioning. But how do you, like, at what point or where do you fit love into it?
It is hard. I'm not gonna lie. It is very hard because even meeting someone and just telling them, hey, I can only see you on Tuesdays or Thursdays, and that's the only time I have for you. It's like they look at it as, oh, but I want to be your first. And to be honest with you, my children are always gonna be first.
Of course.
My children come first, and until I find someone that understands, that part, then that's when I'm like, okay, I might give you a chance, because you understand where I'm coming from. And I feel like I've dated guys without children and I've dated guys with kids. And I feel like obviously I have more chemistry with someone that have kids because they understand, they know that si no se puede hoy, no se puede hoy. Y si los dos tenemos a nuestros hijos y podemos un día, vamos a estar juntos el día. Pero ahora el problema es que, como tú dices, I'm very independent. I feel like I already do everything by myself. And if you come into my life and if you want to take things away, like you can't go hiking by yourself. To me, that's already like, well, that's something that I love. If you love me, you should allow me to do things, even for him or for whoever I end up with, I would want him to do things for himself and, be happy. Because I believe when you do things for yourself and you're happy on your own and then when we come together, we have a beautiful thing. And, what I'm looking for, I'm not looking for someone to take care of me. Like you said, I take care of myself. But if you come into my life and you take a little bit of the weight that I carry, just by, something that I was thinking about, I need new tires. And I'm like, I wish I had a man, that tells me you should go get these tires or even new brakes. Like little things
it's
that
turning
you're like,
off your brain.
It's like, damn, I'm always on survival mode.
It's
the simple things, like little things. It doesn't have to be like you have to be a millionaire and come and take care of me. No, I want to be someone to support me and be like, I have so many crazy ideas and I have so many goals, for my life and what I want for my life and my kids. And I just need that support. If I go like, hey, I want to open a restaurant. I want my person to be like, okay, let's do it. What's next?
How do we do it?
You know? Yes. Or because I've had people that tell me, oh, that's not going to happen. And to me, that's like, okay, you're not going to, take away my dreams.
Blocked.
No, ocupo a alguien que, o sea, yo como les digo, yo vengo de la nada. I come from not having anything. And what I want, I just keep wanting more and more. But I'm still enjoying, where I'm at. Because if, I've been divorced or I separated from my ex-husband 4 years ago. And I've been single, for 4 years. I've dated someone and stuff. But it's been, if I just started, because he used to take care of me. He used to provide for me. I was a stay-at-home mom. And then you go from having that to having to work and be on your own.
Two different things.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you become so independent. I already pay my own rent. I pay the gym. I pay all my bills. And if someone comes into my life wanting to take little things away, I feel like, hey.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're not adding anything into my life, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go. Because I work so hard I have so much peace in my life. I could be at my house and I'm just sitting in the couch and I'm just like happy. And just to think, to have someone that wants me to be a certain way or be certain person, or take some things away, como que it turns me off, La verdad que sí. Y soy una mujer muy alegre, me gusta bailar, me gusta salir, quiero a alguien que sea como activo como yo, como que vaya al gimnasio, que nos podamos hacer, que seamos como amigos, que seamos pareja, que seamos de todo, o sea, que entre los dos queramos
date your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pepe. I know. Wow. You understood.
I understood what she was trying to say. You want to date your best friend.
Yes.
Seriously. No, y yo pienso que I've had bad experiences too, and I feel like a lot of my clients, they have a person for me, and they're like, you should go on a date with this person, and we have the perfect guy for you. And then I go on a date, and they start telling me things that I'm like, oh, I gotta run out of here. You know, like,
for my cat got my wallet. I gotta go.
I gotta go walk my little fish.
Walk the fish is great.
Walk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you share that from your perspective, because obviously it's a trending topic for us of talking about love and relationships. And, nowadays and age, some men that are not really men can't not comprehend, but can't be compatible with another self-made person, which is a girl, a woman that takes care of her own shit. You know what I mean? So...
No, but it doesn't mean, like, if, like, I don't want to say, I want a guy to do this. No. Tampoco, porque no me espanten al ganado. No me espanten al ganado. No.
Véngase para atrás.
Regresen para acá. No se me vayan.
She's
Lo
like,
que yo quiero es un hombre alto. No,
No, Cynthia, platícanos.
Que sepa cambiar las llantas, el aceite.
See, what if he has AAA and they do it for you?
También.
Con que haga el trabajo.
No, es que son cositas que tú dices, oh my God, like, even, I don't know. Uno de mujer, a veces los hombres se complican. Piensan que queremos más grande, and it's just the little things that make you feel like, okay, this guy, and the time, quality time.
Facts.
For sure. I feel like quality time is needed.
All right, so what are your love languages? That's kind of what this
let's
is.
go to
Love languages. What is it? What's your love language?
What are they?
Quality time.
Of course.
Number one. And physical touch. I didn't know why. I feel like I was having this conversation with my best friend, and she was like, maybe because you didn't have, like, your family, and you feel like you always want that, But I think physical touch is, acts of service. I think I'm the one that's always, wanting to give the wifey vibe right away. That's something that I'm like, okay, you need to slow down.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. So 2 questions that I have for you. 2 questions.
Dímelo.
Deep ended. These are like, this is just like, we're diving. We're good? Everything's good?
We're good.
Oh,
Stop.
Yeah, because this is...
Stop.
I'm digging. I'm digging on this one already.
Quiero otro shot.
No, honestly, take it. Why not?
Ahí viene el show.
¡Ey! Ahí viene el avión.
All right. You ready for this? So my question to you is...
I'm looking at him.
I know, I'm not even ready for this.
No? What is your relationship with God?
Oof. I love that you're asking me that. My relationship with God wasn't the best. When I lost my dad, I didn't believe in him.
Of course.
I was upset. I was mad at him, and I pushed him away for so long. And I'm like, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in God. Whenever someone brought, the conversation, I didn't want to know anything about it until my best friend was like, I was raised Catholic, but my best friend was like, hey, you want to go to church with me? And I was like, please, amiga, I really need you to go with me. I need it. I know you don't, but I need it. And I said, okay, I'm there for you. Long story short, we go to church, and it was a Christian church. And I remember the pastor was like, there's someone here that needs to come to the front. And I don't know how or why, but I felt like it was me. And I remember telling my friend, I think I need to go over there. I think it's me. And she's like, yeah, amiga, go. And I remember closing my eyes and literally feeling somebody pushing me. So I looked, nobody was behind me. And then my friend was closing her eyes. And I'm like, okay, God, I think you want me to go. So I remember just walking to the front, and the pastor was like, I was waiting for you. This is a crazy story. I know, like, some people believe it or not, but I feel like that was my experience. And he came to me, he grabbed my hands, and he said, he knows that you are mad at him. but just know that he needed, that person to go with him. And he wants you to look for him, and he wants you to know that he loves you. And everything that he was telling me, I was just like crying. And whatever happened to me that day, I was like, okay, God, I am so sorry. Perdóname por empujarte de mi vida. Yeah. Y era como una experiencia increíble que yo a veces le cuento a personas y como que me miran como que, ay, qué rara. No, lo que yo viví en ese momento fue algo increíble y era como que, okay, I believe in God, and ever since. It's very controversial because I go to Christian church. I still haven't been baptized by Christian church. I haven't. Yeah. But I go to church every Sunday, and I take my kids to Christian church, and my ex-husband takes them to Catholic, which is like a, mi mamá me dice, eres una hipócrita, and I was having this conversation with her. I'm like, Mom, I've been in my darkest moments in my life, and I've been the closest to God ever since I've been to church, and it was Christian church, Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think people should point fingers at you should be Catholic, you should be Christian, or you're a hypocrite if you don't, little things like that. And I love God. I feel like if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm always posting my quotes about God, and everything that I post, I feel like called to post, which is so weird.
No,
but just know that
it's not weird because when a message resonates with you or you feel it, it's something you, like I do it myself, but it's something you want to share because someone out there also needs to hear it.
Yeah, and you get that DM from someone saying, hey, Cynthia, I just want to say thank you for sharing this. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. That makes it, even though sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, I post a lot about God, but I don't care. Whoever's is here, y los que se vayan, pues pueden ir a quitarme y ya, si no creen en él.
Yeah, because at one point, someone needs to believe in a higher power. At one point, whatever that may be to anybody.
Yes.
But it's just like, we said it. I've said it before. I'm going to remind everybody how I got here. It wasn't because of me. I did the labor, but realistically, the person that brought the opportunity at the moment, I know I needed it. It's como se va, like you cannot tell me a better timing than what happened, how it happened. Mm-hmm. The darkest moment I had to go through what I thought was last year in 1 month work is when I got blessed the most biggest way ever. And I'm like, wait, what? You did, what did you just do for me? Yeah. So it's like, all right, now that we're here with the bigger platform, who am I to say I'm not going to remind everybody how I did it? And who am I to leave the same person that gave me this? Mm-hmm. This is the best follow-up question.
Best follow-up because she tied it in beautifully to how this happened. It's hard for you even to say it, but if you can have one last conversation with your dad, what's like the one thing you would want to hear from him or that you would want to tell him?
That's hard, there's so many things that I would love to share with him, and I didn't want to cry, but just, just hoping that he's proud of me. And there's so many things that I don't know, I can't even think right.
Is there a certain what do you think he would tell you right now, where you're at right now in life? What do you think your dad would tell you?
Que soy una mujer chingona. Que está orgulloso de mí. And he's with me. I know he's with me because, he has shown me in different ways. And if I had another conversation with him, I don't know, I would tell him how much I love him and how much I want to, like, how bad I want to make my parents proud, like my mom and my dad. And there's so many things. And like I said, when you don't have them anymore, it gives you a reason in a way to keep going. And like I said, I have my kids. My kids are my biggest motivation. When people ask me, how do you wake up in the morning to go to work? How do you do what you do? I'm like, I have kids that are watching me, I want to make my kids proud. I want my kids to be like, that's my mom. You know, my mom did that. And when they write cards about me for Mother's Day, they say, my mom is strong. My mom is brave. My mom can do it all. And I'm like, you know, like they're looking up to you, you know, and everything that you do. And I love that. You know, being a mom is one of the biggest blessings. And I love being a mom. And the hardest part is co-parenting, you know, having that, but in a way it allows me to do things for myself, and they get the best of me when they come to me, and I love that.
La respuesta de una mujer chingona.
We done.
Sin duda,
Hey,
sin duda
she
alguna.
came in, she conquered.
Oh, you
She
guys.
conquered her first podcast,
Thank
which
you.
I am so happy that everybody gets to hear this, see this. If they didn't know you beforehand, they'll get to know a glimpse of you. And for the people that already know you and tune in on this, they get to know why you are this way.
Get to know a different side of Cynthia.
Cynthia Castillo.
Cynthia Castillo, not Cynthia Fitness, because like I said, I only share a little glimpse of my life on social media. And I feel like now, you know, a lot of people tell me, share your story, Cynthia. You have a beautiful story, you know, that little girl with all those dreams, and I'm still that little girl, you know. Even when I go hiking, I become that little girl. That's why I love that so much. And there's more to come. I just started. Apenas esto empezó, y lo que viene de mí van a ver más, eso sí se los prometo, y estoy muy emocionada. Y la meta es hacer a mi familia feliz y enseñarle a mi mamá que no vino aquí en vano. The sacrifice, you know, it was worth it, Mom. Y le agradezco mucho a mi madre su sacrificio que ella hizo, y a todos nuestros padres que vienen con un sueño de darnos una vida mejor. Es algo muy bonito, y ser inmigrante es un orgullo. Gracias a Dios tengo mis papeles ya, tengo todo, así que ni empiecen, pero
Está en orden.
ser una mujer que viene de nada es lo que me hace ser diferente, porque, bueno, yo digo, ¿verdad? Que me hace ser una mujer trabajadora, que tengo muchos sueños que cumplir. Como les digo, esto apenas empieza. There's so many things that I have coming. And if I'm inspiring, you know, someone out there, you know, a single mom, if you're feeling like you can't do it, you know, just know that you can, you know. Put your kids first, and then everything comes. Trust in God. If you're having a bad time, the good ones are coming, and that's something that I tell myself. You're having a bad time, Cynthia, es porque algo bueno viene. Algo bueno viene, y así pasa. Y así me pasó con Exclatón. Same thing. I was going through my darkest moments, and then all of a sudden this happened, and it was an amazing opportunity. And just know that, you know, siempre hay una luz al final del túnel. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. If you feel like you're drowning, just keep going. You know, even if you don't know how to swim like me.
I was gonna say, learn how to swim.
¡El escorpión!
Learn how to swim.
Como la escorpiona, sigan adelante, no se den por vencidos. La vida es muy bonita, aprécienla, vívenla, disfrútenla y gócenla siempre. Todo el momento es muy bonito. Este viaje es corto o largo, no sé, como nos toque, pero disfrutarlo siempre al 100. Y es algo que me gustaría compartir, que todos disfruten de este momento. Como ahorita también, esta es una bendición, y les agradezco a ellos que me hicieron sentir muy bonito de estar aquí y de compartir con todos. Y no, gracias.
No,
Ay, no,
Can't
a
wait to
ti,
see what's
Cynthia, a
next.
ti.
We can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah.
I know there's something
Stay
cooking.
tuned.
Lo que
I wish I had it
viene.
ready right now, but I don't.
It's coming,
It's
but
coming. Follow me at Cynthia Fitness, and you'll see.
We'll follow right after this.
Agárrense.
Part 2. Comment if you guys want to see part 2. No, I'm
Yes.
kidding.
Yes.
No, hombre. Todo el rato estábamos como que, y cuéntanos más, y cuéntanos
hey,
más.
part 2 may be a workout.
Yo les digo a estos muchachos.
No, but like you and her, we're just
No.
Somos
we're
un
just
equipo.
chilling. We're just
We'll
chilling.
get a bottle.
We'll get a bottle.
Sí.
We'll mic you guys
Hydrated.
up. We'll
Sí.
be perfect.
Sí.
We'll hype you all
Pero
up.
hay balance.
Yo me apunto.
En esta vida hay balance.
Sí, algo tiene que salir
No,
de
sí.
aquí, ¿no?
Sí, no,
Sí.
siempre. But it's also like podcast, man.
Thanks
Thank
so
you guys
much.
for joining.
Muchas gracias.
Hasta la otra. Vámonos.
Chao, chao.
Bye.
¿Sí aguantó la batería?